Hello and welcome. In this week's video, we're going to take a close look at the Rode Wireless Pro mic system. And number one, if you don't have a wireless mic system, should you consider purchasing this system? And number two, if you're bought into the Rode Wireless Go 2 system like I am, is this new Pro worth the upgrade? Let's take a look. My name is Cree, and on this channel, I talk about tech with context. So what I'd like to do today is just walk you through my process for making a purchasing decision. And for me, I own the Rode Wireless Go 2 system. In fact, I have two of them. So I have two receivers and four transmitters total that I use in different scenarios for video production, both personally and professionally. And as you all know, Rode has just come out with a new wireless microphone system called the Rode Wireless Pro. And what I'm doing right now is trying to decide whether or not it's worth the upgrade. So today I'm just going to share with you kind of what I look at. We're going to go through some of the functionality, also the price points, and at the very end I'll share with you the decision I'm going to make as to whether or not I'm going to upgrade this system. So before we dive in, I am recording this video using the Rode Wireless Go 2 microphones. I have one right here sitting at the top of this stand, and what I normally do is just open up my computer and just start to look at the differences. I'm sure just like you, I'm also looking at YouTube review videos to see what this new system has that's involved. And then I just kind of figure out if I'm actually going to use the functionality. Because lots of times this new tech comes out and it has all this great functionality, but it doesn't mean that I'm actually going to use it in my different scenarios. So before we dive into the details though, I do want to share my general use case for these microphones. Right now I have this microphone sitting on a microphone stand, but I use it by clipping it on people's shirts, or I run a lavalier mic from this device onto a client's shirt, depending on what they're wearing. This can be a little bulky sometimes, but for all intents and purposes, what I use this system for is to transmit audio directly to my camera so that I can capture the audio directly in with the video. That means that the audio that it's being captured with this video right now, it's not coming from the onboard mic on the camera. It's actually coming from this microphone. It's a higher quality microphone, and it just means I don't have to do extra work when I'm editing a video. Now, I also use the Rode Wireless Go 2s to back up the audio. So if for some reason it doesn't transmit from the microphone to the receiver that's on the camera, what will happen is I'll have a recording right here on the device. And it's something that's great about all of these new wireless microphone systems that are coming out, is that if for some reason there is a disruption, you are going to have a local copy right here on the Rode Wireless Go 2. This also goes for the DJI mics and also for the new Wireless Pro system. So huge benefit if for some reason the audio is messed up, then I can sync my video with the audio that's directly on this device. Now, is there additional functionality that I take advantage of? Yes, there's all sorts of different settings and ways that you can set up your settings with these mics, but actually I love them because you can just kind of grab them out of the box, plug them in, and they're ready to go. They're already going to transmit a signal from the microphone to the camera, which means that you can bake it into your footage right away. This reduces my workflow time, and I love it. So I use these microphones as often as possible. Now, when it comes time to determining if I'm going to upgrade from the Rode Wireless Go 2s to the Pros, this is kind of what I'm looking at. And first, I'm going to look at the price. The Rode Wireless Go 2 is currently coming in at $299. This includes one receiver, two transmitters. It's going to include the cable and then also the soft neoprene case that comes with this system. I don't like this case. I don't use it at all. So I just kind of throw it in another case when I'm using these microphones for video production. Now, this will mean something here in a moment, but you can purchase additional items. And look, this has been the downside of Rode since the day they started releasing these wireless microphones, is if you want anything extra, you do have to purchase them. Now, I think DJI came in and changed the game because the DJI wireless mics that are out on the market now. They come with everything, a charging case, cables, dead cats, you name it, that system has it. So I think that's what Rode has tried to do in this situation, is catch up with that competition in the market. And what that means is for the Rode Wireless Go 2 system, I also had to purchase additional items. So lavalier mics, which I purchased the lavalier Pros, I think, or Goes. The lavalier Goes, I think, through Rode. Not all lavalier mics work with the Rode Wireless Go 2s, so kind of another downside to the system. But either way, the lavalier mics, I paid about $79 each for those, so I have two. If you want to purchase a charging case separately, there are a lot of third-party charging cases out there, but Rode has since put out a Rode proprietary one that comes in at $79. And if you want to buy something where you can, use a magnet to attach a microphone to a shirt, that's going to be at least $20. So this adds up. So for the Rode Wireless Go 2 system that has two microphones or two transmitters, you're going to be coming in at about $556, including all of those accessories, which I have purchased to successfully conduct my video production services. So now that you get an idea of kind of the setup that you really need to conduct effective video production and capture that audio while you're recording video, you'll see where we're going here with the Rode Wireless Pro. So you are going to get one receiver, two transmitters. By the way, for the Go 2s and also the Pros, you are going to get the dead cats, the little fuzzy microphone covers that come with that. You're going to get two cables with the Pro. You're going to get a TRS to TRS cable and then a TRS to TRRS cable. The TRRS cable is what you use if you want to use the microphone with your smartphone. You're going to get the charging case. You're going to get two lavalier mics, and the lavalier mics actually screw into the transmitters for the Rode Pro, which is really nice. And it's also going to include some magnet accessories. And this is all going to come in at $399 before taxes. Now, if I was starting from scratch and I did not own a wireless microphone system, I would actually just bypass the Go 2s, and I would either look at the Rode Wireless Pros versus the DJI mic system and take a look at that price comparison. I do have a note here. The DJI, the two transmitter system, does come in at $329. So if you're looking at the Pros versus the DJI microphone system, the big difference is that the Rode Wireless Pro has 32-bit float. I'm going to talk about that here in a little more detail here in a second. Also, the other thing that stands out to me is the DJI mics do not come with lavalier mics. So for an extra $60 or $70, you are going to get everything that you need with the Rode Wireless Pros. And when it comes to pricing and everything that comes with these kits, that's what we're looking at. Now, if you already have a wireless system like the Rode Wireless Go 2 or even the DJI mics and you're considering upgrading, this is the exact scenario that I find myself in. Let's take a look at the functionality. And I don't want to go into too much detail about the technical details. I'm looking more at usability. Like, how would this new system fit in my workflow based on the highlighted functionality that's included with the Rode Wireless the Rode Wireless Pro system. So the big ones are 32-bit float. So 32-bit float is a big deal because, first of all, Rode is the first one to bring that to market when it comes to these comparable wireless microphone systems. And 32-bit float is just going to give you a higher quality recording. That means that if somebody is speaking very softly, or if you're shooting an event, or if somebody laughs really loudly, then 32-bit float means that if you peak, you can actually fix that audio in post. The other thing is the that the Rode Wireless Pro does give you a wider range to work with, 200 meters with the Go 2s versus 260 meters with the Pros. If that is a big deal to you in your workflow, then it's something to consider. And apart from all of the accessories and everything that's included in both of these items, those are really the two things that stand out for me, since I already have all the accessories for the Rode Wireless Go 2 system that I have. All right, I'm editing this video and I'm realizing I didn't even touch on timecode functionality. So kudos to Rode for including timecode into this wireless system. I have taken a close look at it. I don't think that it's robust enough for my needs at this time. And remember, in my workflow, I'm more interested in baking this audio directly into the video footage. It saves me a ton of time in the edit. And so for now, that timecode functionality isn't compelling enough for me to make that upgrade. And that's kind of how I feel about it right now. And with that said, let's get back to the video. So what this boils down to for me is 32-bit float. Now, if you remember back at the beginning of the video, I spoke to you about my use case for these microphones. When I'm capturing audio from a transmitter or a microphone, it's being captured directly into the camera using the receiver. Now, what's captured in the video footage is not 32-bit float. What's happening is that with the Pros, 32-bit float is being captured right here in the transmitter. So what that means for me and my workflow is that I still have to do work post-production to utilize the 32-bit float. Now, it is there as a backup, so you can argue that if something happens with the audio, if somebody's speaking too softly, or if there is sort of a peaking in the audio, generally speaking, I would want a backup on my receiver, and I'd have to do that anyways. But that's, I guess, the point, is you'd have to do it anyway. So does having 32-bit float capture in this transmitter matter to me right now? Like, matter enough to walk away from this setup that I have now, take a hit financially and upgrade to the new system? Well, no, and I'll tell you why. The Wireless Go 2s, you can set a safety channel in the audio capture. So although I'm not capturing 32-bit float, I can set a safety channel, so if something happens and the audio peaks, I still have that safety channel that I can pull the audio from. And I've been using these microphones for a couple years now, and I'll share with you that there's only been a couple of times that there has been peaking in my audio, and I've had to go use that safety channel, and it's been there. I've never had any issues with retrieving the audio that I need. Now, if somebody's speaking too softly, there are AI products out there now. Adobe has one. I'll list a couple right here on the screen, some services that you can run your audio through if you are not an audio expert, and you can actually get really decent audio out of a soft-spoken person. So it'll also take audio if you have, these systems have two transmitters or two microphones and then one receiver. So you're getting two signals from two different people. So if you have somebody who's a softer speaker versus somebody who's a little more boisterous, then you can actually even out those levels and post using these AI tools. If you're not an expert, or if you are comfortable manipulating audio, then you have what you need to put out a high quality product. There's some other details that do kind of stand out as far as comparing the Rode Wireless Go 2s with the Pros, but all in all, when I think of my workflow, I want to do everything I can to bake that audio into my video footage so that I don't have to do extra work in the edit. And for me, at this point in time, I don't feel like it's necessary to upgrade to the Rode Wireless Pros since I already have everything that I need. It doesn't mean I won't in the future, but I'm really looking forward to seeing what the real life tests are looking like as this product goes out to market. But right now, I'm perfectly happy with my Rode Wireless Go 2s, my entire setup, and I will not be upgrading at this time. So that's everything that I have thought about. in considering this upgrade. If you enjoyed this video, before you head out, hit the subscribe button and let me know, do you have the Rode Wireless Go-Tos? Do you plan on upgrading? Or if you don't have a wireless system at all, do you plan on purchasing the Rode Wireless Pros? Let me know in the comments below. Thanks so much as always for tuning in, and I'll see you again in next week's video.